Juggalos in recovery, man.
What up, everybody? It is 8:30. My name is D, and I am the host for this meeting that happens almost every Sunday, Sober Soldier Sundays by Juggalos in Recovery. And we've been trying to get a lot of new speakers in here, so y'all have some different perspectives from a bunch of people. We had a really dope speaker this past Wednesday. And because of that meeting, I met the person that we're having speak tonight, and we got to talk a little bit over the phone. And I'm excited to hear her story because she has a lot of things she has overcome in her life. And with that, I am going to open up the room to Allie Kane.
Thanks for having me, D. I appreciate it. So a little bit about me. I am a fellow Juggalo. Been down for a long time. I am a sober soldier. So I guess I'm going to start off my experience, strength, and hope with I started out a young child with parents who were addicted to drugs and alcohol. So I was brought up in the mix. It happened off and on ever since I can remember. But at the age of 6, I can remember my mom being strung out up for days and then passing out late at night. And then me just running off, having fun with my friends until the point I got 6 years old, I was molested. And because of it, I never really respected my mom after the fact. About my teen years, I started getting into abusive relationships, thinking that it was okay to be with guys that belittled me, being with people that would put me in severely dangerous situations, going to trap houses, anything that happened that could possibly happen to you, it happened to me. My cousin Justin Morgan, here in Salem, Oregon, he was shot in a parking lot over a female, and drugs. Bless his soul, he was a juggalo. I have been through mental abuse, to the point to where I was using cutting as a method to deal with my mental abuse. Now, that's something I really don't share, but it happens. It happens to the best of us. And it got to the point to where I was introduced to drugs, and I didn't know what most of your drugs are these days. I didn't know what heroin was. I didn't know that you could do things with prescription pills that besides just taking them normally. And so that kind of like fueled the fire for everything that happened as a child. Between that, I was in detox early on. About 4 years ago, I hit my first detox center. Detox had to have been the worst for me. It all started, so I was in a relationship of 9 years with my first husband. He had taught me all about drugs. I tried heroin for the first time, methamphetamine. Sorry, trigger warning, guys. Sorry. It got bad. It got really bad because then he started mentally abusing me, physically abusing me, and I started using drugs as an escape. To the point that I went from 200 pounds to 78 pounds. And I had no clue what I was doing to my body. I ended up going to a horrible psychosis, seeing things that people were like, "Hey, girl, there's no such thing as shadow people," when I knew that I was seeing things that I couldn't explain. I was hearing things that I couldn't explain. I ended up going into rehab, and as soon as I got out of rehab after 60 days, I went back out and I got loaded. Got hooked up back with the same ex that I was with and got loaded again. September 16th of 2020, which I actually have tatted right here on my wrist. As a reminder, I was introduced to something which everyone knows is fentanyl, whatever they call it. I ended up overdosing and dying. I had absolutely no clue what it was. I was told it was something different. Anyways, I had enough drugs that night that I did to kill 30 people alone. How I'm still alive, I do not know. When I overdosed, I remember hovering above my body and seeing myself being resuscitated. And I remember like floating a little bit and then getting sucked down past my body through the floor into like this dark space, and like hearing all these screams and cries and something like staring at me, but I couldn't see what it was. And then a hand like grabbed my right shoulder and like sucked me up out of this black room past my body, like up through the ceiling. Like I could see how like the house that I was in that was made like up through like a swirling like tunnel of colors, and then I got sucked into this all white room. And I'm looking around, I don't see anybody, and all of a sudden this angel comes around to like the right side of me, and she's like, Allie, what are you doing here? It's not even your time to go. Like, what the hell? And I'm like, where am I? She's like, you're outside the gates of heaven. It was a wake-up call for me. During the time that this is happening, the people that I were with was administering 5 nasal Narcans and 1 injection. Paramedics eventually showed up, and they were flabbergasted that I even was coming out of it and coming to. When I was actually able to come out of everything and was able to talk about what happened, everybody that I like told that was around me what happened, like was in shock and told me like, you gotta go, like get out of here, like you're crazy. But the angel that I had described to the guy that I was staying with in this trap house told me it sounded like his deceased sister, which I didn't even know he had at the time. And he had showed me a picture of his sister, and it was exactly that angel that I saw. And to her, I kind of like, oh, like, I don't know. I owe everything to this girl that I've never met before, because she brought me out of something that I can't ever explain. Still this day I can't explain it, but I know it was a miracle. When I finally pulled my head out of my ass, I actually went to a real decent detox. And I was able to work on myself. After detox, I went into a rehab. Rehab really helped me. I was in there for a year. And that's where the real mental pain and anguish came from. And I had to learn all about resentments and being bored and not being able to have access to the outside world, not being able to leave whenever I wanted to or talk to whoever I wanted to. And I had to learn self-control. I know that as a recovering addict, it's hard to find happiness in a place that feels like a prison. And I had to deal with things like coping mechanisms. We got the chance to have the luxury of listening to our FM radios that they would give us. Writing and drawing are only times that we really had time to talk with our family members was on one house phone. One house phone per 30 women with children inside of a rehab center. Mind you, by the time I entered rehab back in 2020, I had just found out that I was pregnant with my 4th child. Meanwhile, I had 3 other children that I had just lost to DHS that I regained back into my custody after I had went through the hoops. That sucked. I have been through everything you can imagine. Like I said, mental abuse, physical abuse, mental health at its finest. I have severe PTSD. I can't be anywhere without my head being on a swivel. It's no good. It's no, it's no good, you know. But I just want to let everybody know that even in your dark, like even for me now, like I look back at those days and the things that I suffered with, mentally and physically, and I look back now and I'm like, you know what? I have overcome a lot. I personally believe that in my using days, it just made it made everything so much more worse for myself because I know I wasn't myself. My daughter, I'll never forget, I guess I was in the bathroom for 3 hours and my youngest daughter had come and knocked on the door and she goes, "Are you sick?" And I was like, "Yeah, honey." And she goes, "But you're sick in the head." That shit hit hard. It hit so hard because kids know things that you can't explain. And when I look back at everything that I had went through in my past 4 years ago from now, I have never been so grateful for my life experience. Dealing with my addiction, dealing with abuse that is happening currently, like things you can't control from other people. It's like, whoa, you have to take a step back and go, I can deal with this. Back in my using days, I would have been quick to kick in your door and, you know, just be stupid with it. I, on a day-to-day basis, I have a gratitude list. I am constantly writing down things that I am grateful for. There's times like I'll have 10 things I'm grateful for. Other days I'll have 30 things that I'm grateful for. But I will tell you, the one thing that I am grateful for is, you know, my higher power. I know a lot of people don't agree on a higher power, and that's fine. That's your prerogative, you know. I do have a higher power, and I'm very grateful for that. Um, I'm grateful for things like being able to take a shower, being able to eat. Those are things that I missed out on a lot in my recovery. And having people like you guys that I can call on in a time of need, especially D, like I know if I ever had a problem, I could reach out to you or Nate. I have a friend by the name of Boston 2%. If any of y'all go to TikTok, you can find him, Boston 2%. He is amazing. He's somebody you can reach out to if you're recovering or need to be in recovery. It's somebody to look out to. I am, you know, I'm always here. I love to meet new people. I love to help other people that are in need. And I love to be able to call on other people because, you know, I think that as humans we all need that, and especially in recovery, we feel like we're kind of left out. And so that's a little bit about me. and my story. And so I hope that somebody took a little bit away from what I was trying to put out there. This is my first time speaking, so I do appreciate it. But don't give up. Never, don't ever give up. Because giving up is what will bring you to your downfall. And I know the night that I overdosed, which was September 16th of 2020, right before, 15 minutes before I overdosed, I said, and I quote, I just wish I was dead, because if I was dead, the world would be happier. My kids would be better off without me. And boom, 15 minutes later, I got a fucking wake up call from God going, wake the fuck up. You have children. Like, what are you doing? And so that was my big wake up call. And a lot of people that have overdosed, as we all know, they don't get that chance to be sitting right here, right now, telling their story. So, if anybody needs help, reach out. You know, I know the phone feels like 500 pounds sometimes, and your fingers feel heavy to even reach out and text message somebody, but just please, like, do it. Just reach out. We're only a phone call or text away. So my name's Allie Kane, and thanks for letting me share my story.
Whoop, whoop, hell yeah, Allie. Hot 16 minutes right there. Shit was fire. I could relate to a lot, you know. Definitely the feelings of when you hit that, it's like that spiritual bottom, right? And kids, everything in the world, nothing would keep you sober, you know. And I tried to like overdose and went into like a 2-week blackout coma, like don't remember anything, getting bounced from hospital to hospital, psych ward, until I got shot in the ass with some what was this shit called? It's the only thing I'm allergic to. It
Oh,
was a schizophrenic medication.
yes.
And
Fucking,
I'm not schizophrenic. I just had I was
what is
in
it?
psychosis. Starts with a T.
I know,
Something like
I know the
that.
name of it. It's on the tip of my tongue. No,
Thor something.
yeah,
But
see, and I know what that's like. Like, my mother-in-law now, I had no idea that she took care of me in the hospital 4 years ago. And she was telling me, she goes, I remember you when you were in the hospital. And she goes, you were on my ward. She goes, and you were on high alert. She goes, you didn't know it. She goes, but we had cameras with camera and microphone in your room. She goes, and people were trying to offer you drugs in the hospital.
yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
what? She's like, yeah, man.
And I can just remember coming to, though, and my dad standing in the window crying, like, you remember where you are, what day of the week it is. And I've just felt like the biggest piece of shit. Like, I got these 2 beautiful kids, and I can't get my life straight for them, to the point where I'm going to try to take my own life, let alone, like, I was supposed to be in prison until 2025. I'm not even supposed to have a second kid, meet at any of these people I've met throughout the years. And here I am fucking off all this time that God gave me, you know what I mean? And it's crazy when we get sober and we can look back at all those God moments in our life that and see he was always there, even though we didn't want him, right? Until we got
Borrowed
so
time.
broken. Yeah, until we got so broken and we're willing to accept that we are not in control of the show,
Yeah.
right?
See,
Once we let
bro,
go of that control, we get all control through our higher power, you know what I mean?
I
Whatever it
was
is.
with my first husband, and he had introduced me to the Satanic Bible. Mind you, I had no fucking clue what I was messing with. Okay. I was battling with addiction. I strung out on meth and heroin, pills, whatever I could get my hands on. Reading a Satanic Bible and dealing with 2 little girls. Meanwhile, I was pregnant. And I just remember my life feeling so out of control when I thought I was in control of the whole situation. Um, and now that I look back at it, I'm like, why the fuck did I think I had control in the first place? You know? And I'm like, man, like,
Yeah,
and because of everything now, I have heart problems. I've got my lung problems are starting to come up, but I have severe, like, stomach issues now, where I have to wake up and take meds just so I could eat in the mornings. It's like, it's so bad. Like, drugs really did me dirty. And I
Well,
thought I
well,
was doing them dirty.
that's the thing with like addiction and mental health. Like our drugs are our higher power. That is our God. You know, we think we are our own God, but like it's really those things that have that control over us, right? And when we finally let go absolutely of that and get something outside of ourselves, our God, our higher power, to take its form. And
Hmm.
I always say it's a God of my misunderstanding. I never want to fully know God, because then I become God, then I play God. But you know, the God that has looked out for me all these years, you know what I mean? He gives me all power, you know what I mean? Now that I've been so long sober, everything's a choice, right?
Yeah,
And as long
yeah,
as I stay aligned and know that my higher power got me through, no matter what is going to happen, the goods, the bads, the downs, the ups of recovery, like picking up a drink or a drug isn't a thing, you know what I mean? And
right.
I've had a rough couple of weeks, and getting to meet Boston and getting to meet you and hear your stories, and it's been a vital like recharge that I've needed this past week, you know, and that's just another thing of God putting people in my life to meet that have something of value to
I'm in
give
here, y'all.
give to me. I see you, Boston. I see
I'm
you
in here. I
popping
just
in
Boston.
and
wanted to
out.
say hi. I was on the road. I apologize, but I heard your story. You just wasn't on camera.
It's
It's
okay.
all good. The meeting is open, so if anybody wants to talk to Allie, chop it up. Y'all are free. Raise your hand, unmute your mics, pass it around. Be respectful to meetings, y'all's. And thanks again, Allie, for like she just hit me up. Was like, I'll speak anytime. I'm like, perfect. I've had the
Yeah,
roughest week. I haven't had
Yeah,
found a speaker for Sunday. Would you want to do it this Sunday? She's like,
yeah,
I'm getting. I'm like, bet. Appreciate your service.
yeah.
yeah.
So
You did
Like,
good, Ali. I'm
thank
proud of you.
you. Thank
Yeah,
you. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, like this day, like I was supposed to be on my way to church and I found out like my mother-in-law and my son's grandma were beefing it out in my front yard, dude. Like no joke. They were hashing it out. My husband called me and said, I need you to get home from church like right now. They're beefing it out in the front yard. Meanwhile, we got a sheriff across the street and she's yelling at the two old ladies, and I'm like, oh my God, like shit just happened. And but I didn't go out and use. I didn't go pick up a drink. I didn't try to cut myself. I didn't try to go harm other people. I just was like able to just like calm and just keep calm, in the storm, and that's more than what I could say what I'd used to do. And so I'm super grateful, like, because I know the old me would have been like so quick to like jump in and be like, yo, D, like, what you got for me? You know? And for whatever reason, my higher power like cut the D man out of my life. Like, as far as I know, the D man is no longer around. Like, I heard that he passed away. So even if I wanted to connect, like, I couldn't connect. He's 6 feet under, But yeah, it's crazy.
all right, meeting is open. Anybody want to share? Don't be scared. Raise your hand. Unmute your mic. Go ahead, James. You good?
Hey, Ali. I just want to thank you for sharing your experience, strength, and hope with us. Really appreciate it. I'm happy you're alive. I'm happy to just hear what you had to say. It really caught my attention when you're like, wake the fuck up. You have God told you that. And I don't know, it just resonated with me, pretty much brought tears to my eyes. But yeah, I want to say, Brian, thank you for hosting these meetings too. I love all you guys, man. I'm really grateful I found this, and yeah, that's all I wanted to say. But you guys have a good night. I'm just gonna listen now. So
Yeah, thanks, James. Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
Thanks, James.
Sorry there was no meeting last Sunday. I've been having a lot going on, but somebody said something to me. I'm like, I'm gonna make sure I have one this Sunday. Fuck my pity party. Um,
Anybody want to share?
if nobody wants to talk on the live stream, and sorry, I'm about to end all the recordings right now. Go ahead, Nate.
Nothing. I just wanted to get in here and, I caught like kind of halfway through your story, and there's always something relatable to that. But I just want to point out that I love to see all the new faces on here. I'm glad you guys found us and that we found you. And, you know, please keep coming back. You know, we need you guys out here to kind of help spread the good word. So thank you guys. Love everybody.
Thanks, Nate. Yeah, I'm definitely making it a point to where I can share the Juggalos in recovery, and I've been like posting it everywhere that I can to get more faces. I've been telling people, I'm like, even if you're not a Juggalo, like come in, like, join us, maybe you can relate to something in here. Hopefully you can take away something with it and share it with somebody else. Hopefully we're saving a life. That's my thing. So I don't call addicts or recovering addicts at all. I relate to everybody as a starfish. If I could just save one starfish, that's my thing. So I'm a starfish saver. you know
Hell yeah, and that's a good point. You know, you definitely don't have to be a juggalo to fit up in here, and you know, it's for everybody. So that's awesome.
exactly.
Hell
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the 12 steps of Juggalos in recovery is a little different, and our 12 step says to help every addict, whether Juggalo or not. Anybody that needs help, that's what we do.
Right,
You know?
right. And I'll definitely tell you, like, I have a lot of people in my life, like my mother-in-law and my father-in-law and my husband. They're not juggalos, obviously. But man, they have helped me so much in my recovery. I don't know where I would be without them. My mental health started declining like over this past year alone. And man, I'm so glad that, I was able to find you guys and that Patrick was able to be like, hey, come help, come to this meeting, like support me. And I found you guys because it's been hell. I think everybody's just been through a little bit of hell lately. And I remember like bawling yesterday, but then I started like laughing maniacally, and my husband's looking at me like, what the hell is your problem? I'm like sitting there, tears rolling on my face, and I'm like laughing, and I'm like, even through the bullshit, I still have friends that love me. And he's like, oh shit, like, lady, take your meds. So
Hell yeah. All right, with that, I'm going to end all the recordings right now. So if you're watching anywhere on the live streams, you can click the link in the description and you can come join us live. And if not, whatever.